So those rifle volleys will be coming from that direction over there. Now I do ask that you all prepare yourselves for it. All right, folks, at this time, please stand by for military honors.
Michael Hypolite.
Hello. Hello, friends. We here, Bernard. Oh, you know him, right? Yes, yeah, boy, what's up? I ain't come with no prepared speech to say anything. I just come to speak out of my heart and my soul, love for my brother. And let's start with my mom. My mom and her 9 children. Yes, Bernard was one of 6 brothers. And now I have 4 brothers. I lost one brother in England, and now Bernard is the 2nd brother to join him. Bernard, growing up, we come from humble beginnings. We didn't have a whole lot, but my mother instilled something in us, in all of us. She instilled love. Love, that's what we got, love. Love for family, love for friends. And Bernard was a great recipient of that love, of that message, the message of love. And Bernard lived his life loving. Bernard might have, I'm sure all of you know, whoever interacted with Bernard, sometimes.
We know.
Sometimes Bernard seemed to have a different way about it. He's different. He was different. Sometimes Bernard made friends in an angry situation. Bernard was strange. Bernard was one loving man. He was a loving man, growing up with Bernard, my mom, she was like a drill sergeant. She had 9 kids to worry about. We grew up with mom and dad working. Mom got 9 kids. Mom got to straighten us all out. Mom got to make sure there's no room for error. You know what I mean? If she going to the market, she will blaze all of us and tell us to sit there and don't move. Don't move till I get back. And if you move and he don't tell me, he gets blazed when she gets back. And Bernard seemed to challenge all authority. All authority, Bernard seemed to challenge, you know what I mean? Bernard, growing up, what I remember from Bernard is that, he was, he just liked to challenge authority. And he challenged my mom. He challenged my mom. Like I say, we come from humble beginnings. We were building a house in Covey Road, and the house was partially built. We didn't have water on the land yet, you know what I mean? So we had to carry water to the land, I remember, Bernard defined my mom, you know what I mean? I ain't carrying no damn water. Bernard tossed the buckets and stuff, you know what I mean? Bernard was something, man. He was something, man. And, he got to, brilliant guy, very brilliant guy. I think the most brilliant of all of us. He passed for the best college in the Caribbean at the time. That was Fatima College. He did it on his first go around. When I passed with Fatima, made us all proud, you know what I mean? But then when I get Fatima, and he go challenge them too. But I don't like ties, you know what I mean? Fatima, you gotta wear your tie, man. I mean, you got a uniform and everything, and then Bernard, he gave the priest another hell there. You know, the Catholic institution gave them hell, you know what I mean? So they kicked them out. They kicked them out of the best university in the West Indies. But that was Bernard. You know what I mean? Then, he was in the cadets, Cadets, you know the cadets, right? Cadets like the military. He used to love military things, you know what I mean? Military organizations. So he joined the cadet. And, cadets got ties too. I told myself I'm not going to wear a tie today because Bernard didn't like ties. but just trying to be respectful of it on my tie, just what to say about Bernard. I remember growing up, it's 6 boys and 3 girls, we had little battles, you know what I mean? I remember my second eldest brother, Joe, and Bernard getting into it. Bernard getting into it with everybody. I mean, some of y'all know this, right? Bernard would sell you a plate of food, and then at the end of the day, when you're ready to take it home, he sold it to somebody else. But he didn't mean no harm. He didn't mean no harm. All he meant was trying to help the situation as he sees it, And so,
Alright, let's get the good parts.
Actually, you have to wind it down.
okay.
Our time is almost up.
My loving father, my loving brother, my loving grandfather, a loving family man, a loving friend, touched my heart, you know what I mean? I can't believe it. I've been going through this I came here February 21, and I've been with Bernard since. And lastly, Bernard said to me, in this hospital bed, he said to me, "You think you can take my place?" So he said to me, the few words he spoke to me, that's what he said. If I think I can take his place. And of course, you got to assure, to shore him up, you know what I mean? And I didn't understand what he meant. I really didn't understand what he meant by if I could take his place, you know what I mean? And it's only way after I understand, I think I understand, I'm not so even sure I understand what he meant. But he meant carry on who Bernard was. Bernard was a loving guy. know, he give you his shirt off his back. You know, he look at other people and attend to their thing more than his thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I have to make the announcement now.
Selfless guy. So, may he rest in peace. And may we continue to do his work. All of us.
And you was optimistic at the very end.
On behalf of the family, I've been asked to announce you're all invited to return with them to the Yardley Inn. Directions were given to each of the cars. If anybody needs further details, please feel free to ask. At this time, I'll invite you to pass by the casket one last time, place your hand on top, and then head to your cars for the next funeral to arrive. I will need you to all pull away from the pavilion. Thank you. You want to start? Thank you.